Welcome back, my friend. Tonight, we enter London at the dawn of the Stuart age, where a new king arrives from Scotland. Theatres glow beside the Thames, secret plots gather in darkness, and curious minds begin lighting the first lanterns of science. Settle in, breathe slowly, and let history carry you towards sleep. Subscribe to Deep Sleep Storytelling for more peaceful journeys through history, science, and the mysteries of the sea.
The King from the North. Breathe softly, my friend. Let the quiet of the night touch your thoughts. Imagine London standing at the edge of a new century, the air cool, the river calm, and the streets humming with a mixture of excitement and uncertainty. It is the spring of 1603. Elizabeth has died. Her long, golden reign has ended. And all across London, people whisper the same question. What now? For the first time in decades, the city feels unmoored, like a ship waiting for its new captain. Then slowly, steadily, news flows into the streets like morning light slipping between rooftops. The new king is coming. A man no one in London has ever seen. A man raised in a colder land, shaped by different storms, crowned in different halls. James of Scotland, a king from the north. The long road south. James begins his journey from Edinburgh, the Scottish capital built on cliffs and volcanic rock. He travels through broad green fields, quiet villages, and long winding roads that grow busier the farther south he rides. Word of his approach runs ahead of him like a fast wind. Villages ring their bells. Towns hang banners. People crowd the roads just to catch a glimpse of the moving procession. Some see him for only a heartbeat as his horse passes. Some shout blessings. Some kneel. Some simply stare, curious about the man who will rule both England and Scotland. The closer he gets to London, the larger the crowds become. Merchants, farmers, noblemen, children, travelers from far ports, performers, priests, even the occasional pickpocket who quietly tells himself he is part of history. Everyone wants to see the new king. London prepares. In London itself, the mood is electric. Shopkeepers sweep their thresholds with more enthusiasm than usual. Guild halls hang bright cloth from their windows. Church bells practice their chimes for the great day. Theaters prepare performances in hopes the new king will love drama as much as Elizabeth did. The Thames is busy with small boats, their oars splashing in anticipation. Vendors shout. Printers rush to make pamphlets praising the new monarch. Children gather on the banks, practicing how they will cheer when he passes. But beneath the excitement lies a quiet, pulsing question. What kind of king will he be? London has known kings who were bold and loud, kings who were gentle and quiet, kings who were erratic, kings who were brilliant, kings who were both at once. No one knows what to expect from this Scottish ruler with his strange accent, his fondness for books, and his reputation for loving long, winding speeches. And no one knows how a king used to the stern stone of Edinburgh, will feel about the sprawling, crowded, noisy heart of England. The first glimpse. When James finally enters London, the crowds are immense. They line the streets from Mile End to the city gates. They climb onto barrels, rooftops, window ledges, and the backs of patient horses. Some even perch on tree branches, swaying slightly, but refusing to climb down. And when they see him, they lean forward, with breath held tight. James is not handsome in the traditional sense. He is slightly awkward on horseback, with a beard too large for his delicate features and a walk that suggests years of dodging political danger. But his eyes are bright, alert, full of curiosity. He looks at London the way someone looks at a treasure chest they have heard about all their life but never touched. A city of wealth, theater, merchants, learning, and opportunity. A city he now rules. London, in turn, studies him with equal intensity. Some people cheer loudly, some clap politely, some stand in stunned silence, taking in the simple fact that a new era has begun. The city that adored Elizabeth is now adjusting to a king who grew up in a land of cold winds and cautious alliances. They are trying to understand each other like two strangers who have just shaken hands for the first time. The Union of Crowns. James carries with him a vision grander than anything England has seen in generations. He believes he is not simply the king of two nations, but the king of one Britain, a land united not just by border, but by destiny. London hears him speak of unity, peace, and stability. Some people like the idea. They imagine the strength of two kingdoms working as one. Others worry that English traditions will be overshadowed by Scottish influence. But the city cannot deny that the moment feels historic. For the first time, one crown rules both realms. It is as if a bridge has been built across mountains and rivers, linking two long divided worlds. London's first impressions. As days pass, London begins to form an opinion. James is amiable. He laughs easily. He adores hunting with an enthusiasm that borders on obsession. He loves books, ideas, debates, and long conversations. He talks so much that some courtiers quietly wish he would breathe between sentences. He is not regal in the dramatic Tudor way, not glamorous, not commanding in presence, but he is human, approachable, and oddly comforting. Londoners whisper that he feels more like a scholarly uncle than a king. Some find this charming, others find it peculiar, but many feel a sense of relief. After decades of religious upheaval and political storms, a gentle hand on the throne does not sound so bad. A city catching the future arrive. On the evening of his first full day in London, James looks out across the river from Whitehall Palace. The water glimmers, the theaters glow. The city hums with life. Behind him lie the hard stones of Edinburgh. In front of him lies the great expanse of English politics, wealth, culture, and ambition. And somewhere deep inside him, a thought stirs. This city will shape him, and he will shape it. London senses it too. The air is thick with possibility, with questions, with the quiet flutter of new beginnings. The century has turned, the dynasty has changed, and nothing will ever be quite the same. Ending the chapter. For now, let your thoughts drift like lanterns floating on the Thames. A new king has arrived. A new era has opened. London is standing at the threshold of peace and chaos, prosperity and danger, brilliance and destruction. The story is only beginning. The theaters rise higher. Settle a little deeper, my friend. Let your breath slow like the gentle sway of a boat on the Thames. Tonight we wander into a London suddenly, alive with art, laughter, poetry, and the warm glow of firelit stages. A new king sits on the throne, and though he lacks the glamour of the Tudors, he brings something precious to London. He brings peace, and peace gives birth to stories. A king who loves words. James I is an unusual king. He loves books more than armor. He enjoys debates more than battles. He prefers long conversations to courtly parades. He even writes poetry of his own, which his courtiers politely praise. For London's writers and actors, this is a blessing. A king who loves words will surely love theaters. And he does. Almost immediately after arriving, James places his royal protection on one of London's acting companies, transforming them into the King's Men. And among their members is a playwright with a sharp quill and a mind full of thunder and moonlight, William Shakespeare. London does not yet know it, but it is about to enter the brightest age of drama the city will ever see. The South Bank at sunset. Imagine walking along the south bank of the Thames in the early years of James's reign. The evening sky glows orange. The river carries reflections like trembling ribbons of fire. Musicians tune their instruments near tavern doors. Alehouses spill music and laughter into the streets. And ahead of you, wooden playhouses rise like great round lanterns. The globe, the rose, the swan. Crowds gather at the doors. Long before the performance begins, merchants with rough hands, tailors in ink-stained sleeves, sailors smelling of sea salt, noblemen in bright satin cloaks, fishmongers wiping their hands on aprons, apprentices eager to escape their masters, children with wide, eager eyes. All classes mingle, united by the simple desire to watch a story unfold beneath the open sky. London feels like the beating heart of the world. A city in love with drama. Inside the playhouses, the air feels charged. You can smell the wood of the stage, the straw at your feet, the warm scent of bodies pressed together. People talk, laugh, argue, place bets, and shout greetings across the crowd. Then the trumpets sound. Silence falls like a soft blanket, and words take flight. This is the age when Shakespeare writes, The Tempest, Macbeth, King Lear, and Othello. when Ben Jonson dazzles the court with comedies full of cleverness and wicked wit. When the city's imagination stretches so wide it feels the world is growing inside its theaters. Every performance is a firework of ideas, and London burns brighter each night. Shakespeare and the King's Men. With royal patronage, the King's Men enjoy unprecedented prestige. Their plays are performed not only for crowds along the South Bank, but for the court itself. Imagine Shakespeare standing backstage at Whitehall Palace, dressed simply, hands folded behind his back, watching aristocrats and diplomats take their seats, watching his lines, once scribbled in cramped handwriting, come alive before princes and ambassadors. James himself often attends. He listens intently, eyes sharp, mind racing. He loves stories of kings, magic, ambition, and the supernatural. It is said he had a particular fondness for Macbeth, with its witches, prophecies, and royal destiny. Whether true or not, the story fits him well. A king who loves words. A king who loves mysteries. A king who understands the power of imagination. New theaters, new voices. London grows hungrier for plays. New theaters appear. New actors rise. New writers sharpen their quills. One can hear rehearsals almost anywhere. A poet muttering lines to himself while crossing London Bridge. A young actor practicing swordplay behind an alehouse. Musicians tuning lutes near the river. Children reciting scenes in the marketplace. Even the noise of the city seems to adopt a rhythm that suits the stage. Cartwheels creak like sound effects. Dogs bark on cue. Vendors cry out in voices that sound like chorus lines. The city itself becomes a kind of theater, and London loves every moment. The court masks. While the playhouses entertain the public, the royal court develops its own style of performance, the mask. A dazzling blend of music, dance, poetry, costumes, and elaborate sets. Sometimes so extravagant that the cost could have fed an entire district for a month. Noblemen act in them. Ladies of the court dance in them. The Queen herself, Anne of Denmark, often participates with great excitement. These masks fill the palace with firelight, jewels, laughter, and shimmering fabrics. They are the dreams of the wealthy, performed in rooms hung with gold and velvet. Shakespeare's world belongs to the people. The mask belongs to the elite. But both flourish under James. Both help London find its voice in art. London's growing confidence. Peace with Spain, prosperity in trade, and royal support for the arts all combine to give London a new sense of confidence. Merchants grow bolder, guilds grow busier, writers grow braver. Philosophers debate in coffee houses, scholars translate ancient texts, explorers return from unknown coasts with strange stories that set playwrights dreaming of distant lands. London is no longer just a city in England. It is the center of something far larger, a hub of trade, ideas, and imagination. A place where the world arrives each morning by riverboat and where the world is reinvented each evening on stage. Yet shadows remain. But even in this age of brilliance, small shadows creep at the edges. The crowds are large, the streets narrow, the water supply inconsistent. Human waste accumulates in dark corners. Sickness lurks. But for now, London chooses not to see the early signs, not to hear the quiet coughs echoing through crowded alleys, not to notice how quickly an illness can slip from house to house. For now, the laughter in the theaters is louder than any warning. The city is alive, and it believes nothing can stop its rise. Let the glow of candlelit stages warm your thoughts for a moment. Let the applause soften your breath. Let the voices of London's greatest writers drift through your mind like gentle waves. This is a city at its creative peak, a city in love with stories, a city dreaming with open eyes. But soon, a different kind of story will arrive. One not written by poets, one not performed for crowds, one carved instead into the very skin of the city. The plague is coming, but not tonight. The night the city held its breath. Close your eyes a little, my friend. Let the hush of the night settle around you like a soft cloak. London is still glowing with candlelight from the theaters, still humming with the excitement of new ideas, still dancing in the warmth of King James's peaceful beginnings. But beneath the surface, a quiet tension is growing, a thread pulled too tight, a whisper passed too often, a fear that refuses to vanish completely. This is the chapter when London feels a shadow brushing against its shoulder, a shadow made of secrecy, powder, and silence. And it begins in the year 1605. A city of mixed faiths. James I has promised moderation. He has spoken kindly of peace, but London is full of old wounds and new suspicions. Some Catholics hope the new king will restore their freedoms. Some Protestants fear the slightest hint of compromise. Priests hide in secret chambers in rural houses. Families whisper prayers behind closed doors. Every church bell seems to carry a question. London tries to move forward, but the past clings to it like damp fog. And in this fog, dangerous ideas begin to grow. A plan in the shadows. A small group of desperate Catholic men decide that patience is no longer possible. They gather in dimly lit rooms, whispering their frustrations. Among them is a tall, quiet soldier with a stern face and a reputation for discipline, Guy Fawkes. A man who has seen war, a man who understands gunpowder, a man who believes the kingdom can change only through the most extreme act imaginable. Their plan is simple in words, impossible in spirit. They will blow up Parliament during its ceremonial opening. They will kill the king. They will destroy the Lords, the Commons, the court, and the future of the Protestant settlement. In one terrible instant, They hope to break the kingdom so they can build it anew. It is a plan born from despair, and one that will bring London to the edge of disaster. Beneath the Palace of Westminster, the conspirators rent a cellar beneath the House of Lords. They fill it slowly, carefully with barrels of powder, barrels of danger, barrels that, if ignited, would send a thunderous blast rolling across the river and shaking London to its bones. Guy Fawkes is placed in charge of the explosives. He waits, he watches, he prepares. October becomes November. The cold seeps into the stones. The cellar grows darker. The barrels sit silent like sleeping beasts. Above them, the palace bustles with normal life. Guards walk by, clerks carry documents. Courtiers laugh about gossip. No one knows what lies beneath their feet. Not yet. A whisper unravels the plot. One of the conspirators grows uncertain. He fears the explosion will kill Catholic nobles who will be attending Parliament. He sends an anonymous letter, a warning, a cautious whisper sent through the cracks of fate. The letter reaches Lord Monteagle, who reads it aloud by candlelight. His voice trembles. His servants pause, listening. Something is wrong. He sends the letter to the authorities. Investigations begin. Quiet at first, careful, shadowed. But then, on the night of November 4th, guards descend into the cellars. And there, in the flickering glow of torchlight, they find a man standing watch over barrels he cannot deny. Guy Fawkes. His arrest echoes through London faster than any messenger could ever run. The city wakes in fear. By dawn, London is a swirl of voices. They found gunpowder, and they found a plot. They found a man ready to light the fuse. They found the end of the king's life only hours away. People stand in doorways, stunned. Mothers clutch their children. Merchants gather in the markets, arguing in hushed tones. Priests pray softly for mercy. Rumors spread like sparks in dry straw. A single night has changed everything. The city realizes how close it came to losing not just a king, but its stability, its government, its future. Even those who disagree with James feel the same cold shiver. London nearly died in its sleep. Guy Fawkes before the king. Guy Fawkes is brought before the authorities. His face is bruised, but his posture remains strangely calm. They ask him who else is involved. He refuses to speak. They ask him why he agreed to such a plan. He speaks only of his faith and his conviction. For days, the authorities push harder. Eventually, under immense pressure, the names come. London listens to each new revelation with widening eyes. The king orders Thanksgiving services. Church bells ring with forced joy. Parliament declares November 5th a day of remembrance. Thus begins a tradition that will echo through centuries: bonfires, effigies, crackling flames, casting light on faces filled with both relief and fear. Remember, remember, the old rhyme begins here. London learns to live with suspicion. After the plot is exposed, a heavy weight settles over the city. Suspicion grows. Laws tighten. Catholics face greater restrictions. Priests hide more carefully. Families watch their neighbors with guarded eyes. James himself becomes more cautious, more defensive, more aware that the crown he wears is perched above a ground that can shake at any moment. London tries to resume its normal rhythm. Markets open, theaters perform, ships arrive at the docks. Life moves forward. But beneath the surface, there is a new tension, a sense that danger can emerge from any shadow. A night that will never be forgotten. Over the years, the memory of the Gunpowder Plot changes shape. At first it is fear, then anger, then a strange mixture of celebration and warning. Each November 5th, bonfires crackle across the city. Children laugh, families gather, fireworks burst into bright colors above the river. They celebrate survival, but also remember the fragility of peace. And every year, as flames rise into the dark sky, London whispers a quiet truth to itself. The city has been tested before. It will be tested again, but it endures. It always endures. Rest now. Let the sound of distant fireworks fade from your imagination. Let the crackle of bonfires dissolve into silence. Let your breath fall into the same calm rhythm London found the morning after the danger had passed. The century has only begun, and far greater storms are approaching. But not tonight. Lanterns of Thought, London's first scientific stirrings. Settle deeper into your pillow, my friend. Slow your breath, as though you are stepping into a quiet library where every sound becomes softer, every movement slower. Tonight we enter a different kind of London. Not the noisy London of theaters and marketplaces, but a quieter, more thoughtful city. A London of scholars, of curious minds, of lanterns glowing past midnight in rooms filled with books and instruments. This is the beginning of something subtle, yet extraordinary, the early stirring of the scientific age. It will not erupt like a storm. It will bloom like dawn. A city hungry for knowledge. By the early 1600s, London is swelling with ideas. Ships bring spices and silks, yes, but they also bring stories of unfamiliar stars, strange plants, mysterious animals, and distant cultures. Merchants return from Asia with tales of new medicines. Sailors claim they have seen constellations unknown to English skies. Travelers describe ancient architecture, unusual languages, and unfamiliar customs. Curiosity begins to ripple through the city like a slow, warm current. At alehouses, men argue not only about politics, but about the shape of the world. In universities, scholars whisper about new theories from Italy and France. In hidden corners, alchemists stir mixtures that bubble with the promise of transformation. Even ordinary Londoners feel the shift. They look at the heavens with new questions. They walk through the streets with new wonder. the city is waking up. The philosophers gather. In London, a small circle of thinkers begins to meet in taverns, private houses, and university chambers. Their identities change over time, but their purpose remains the same: to observe, to measure, to question, to seek truth not from tradition alone, but from the world itself. Some are professors, some are physicians, some are wealthy men with leisure to study, some are clerics fascinated by the vastness of creation. They carry notebooks filled with sketches of plants, diagrams of machines, calculations of celestial motion, and lists of strange observations made along the river. When they talk, the conversations drift like smoke. Why does water boil? Why do magnets pull iron? What is light made of? What lies inside the human body? Do all stars move? Is the universe infinite? And what, in the quiet of the night, does God truly intend for the world to learn from its own design? London begins to feel like a giant classroom. In the house of a curious man, picture a small study lit by a single candle. Books line the walls, their pages worn from use. On the table rests a brass astrolabe, a few vials, a dusty human skull, and a pile of papers covered in elegant handwriting. A man sits hunched over a diagram of the moon's phases. His breath is slow. His fingers are ink-stained. Outside his windows, London sleeps. This scene repeats itself across the city in houses of all kinds. Some scholars work in comfort near the fire. Others crouch beside a small table in cramped rooms above noisy streets. A few gather groups of eager students around them, pointing at strange instruments imported from Italy. The city becomes a patchwork of small, illuminated islands, each flickering with its own little flame of thought. Knowledge spreads not by decree, but by quiet dedication. James I and the world of letters. James I may not be a scientific genius, but he loves books. He reads voraciously. He debates with scholars. He surrounds himself with thinkers. He writes treatises on theology, monarchy, and even witchcraft, revealing a mind constantly seeking order in the world. His court encourages learning. His curiosity signals to London that this is a time when ideas matter, when the pen can shape the future as powerfully as the sword. London responds with enthusiasm. More books are printed, more libraries open, more tutors find employment, more intellectual groups meet regularly in private chambers, whispering theories that will one day transform human understanding. The king may be eccentric, but he is a patron of thought, and the city grows smarter under his watch. The new physicians. Medicine also begins to change. Doctors increasingly rely on observation rather than ancient authority. They conduct dissections, though often in secret. They study anatomy with careful hands and troubled hearts. They try to understand why one person recovers from illness while another does not. Some physicians travel to the countryside to document herbs, roots, and local remedies. Others experiment with new mixtures and treatments. the common people remain skeptical. For many, illness is still a matter of faith, fate, or spirits. But the seeds of modern medicine are quietly sprouting in London's hospitals and guild halls. A new way of healing begins to take shape. Alchemists and dreamers. In dark cellars and smoky rooms across the city, alchemists continue their ancient quest. They heat strange metals. They distill herbs. They grind powders by candlelight. They whisper incantations and scribble equations on parchment. Most of their experiments lead nowhere. Some end in small explosions, but their curiosity about the nature of matter becomes a bridge between old traditions and new science. From their failures will grow chemistry. From their dreams will rise laboratories. From their questions will emerge methods that future generations will refine. London hums with ambition, even in its strangest corners. The birth of gentle inquiry. Above all, the early scientific spirit of London is gentle. It is not loud. It is not triumphant. It is not revolutionary. It is simply curious. A candle held up to darkness. A quiet step toward truth. A moment when humans begin to look at the world not only with reverence, but with wonder. Scholars compare notes. Once they write letters, they share ideas. They argue kindly, then passionately, then kindly again. They understand that knowledge grows slowly, like vines climbing a garden wall. London's gardens of thought begin to bloom. Let yourself imagine those softly lit rooms, those quills scratching slowly across parchment, those curious hands turning strange instruments in the glow of a candle. London is learning how to think in a new way. Not through fear, not through tradition alone, but through observation, debate, and humble curiosity. It is only the beginning. The greatest discoveries are still far ahead, but the foundation is being laid. Rest with that gentle image.
Rest now, my friend, as the lanterns of Stuart London begin to dim. Tonight, we watched a new king arrive from the north, heard the applause rising from riverside theatres, followed whispers of danger beneath Parliament, and entered candlelit rooms where curious minds began questioning the world. London stands bright, restless, and full of possibility, yet shadows are gathering beyond its crowded streets. Soon, sickness will move quietly through the city, changing its rhythm and testing its strength. But for now, let the Thames carry these stories away. Breathe slowly, soften your thoughts, and sleep peacefully.